Okay, welcome to my first YouTube video. I guess this is what they would call an introduction, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Jaden Simons, and I own an outfitting company on Lake of the Woods in Kenora, Ontario. So within my business, I do three things. The first one is fishing just in open water in the summertime. That's how I grew up guiding, and that's how I got into it. The second thing is hunting, which is what we're going to touch on a little bit later today. And the third thing is ice fishing. So ice fishing is extremely cold if you've never done it. And I personally don't like being cold. So what I did was I got some super fancy ice shacks called ice castles. And I rent them out on Lake of the Woods in the winter. And that's what I do for work. So today we're going to be putting out minerals for deer. And a lot of people don't know how to use minerals for deer or what minerals for deer even is. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go take you out, show you what I'm looking for, show you what minerals are, and talk to you a little bit about what's in them and the positives of what it can do for the deer. I just got to my spot. I've got my mineral. I just put it into a little Ziploc bag just so it was easier to carry through the bush. But I've never been to this spot before. And I've wanted to do it like this because I would be able to show you exactly where you need to put it, maybe what you should be looking for. That's going to help you get it in front of more deer and help more deer find it. It just rained, so it's going to help me avoid a lot of the wood ticks. This time of year, you can see the trees are on the trees are on the leaves. The leaves are on the trees, so it's been warm enough for the wood ticks to come out, and I like to try to avoid them when I can. Now, when I'm doing this, I like to look for. I should give you a little background. So we're in northwest Ontario, which is in the boreal forest. It's shield country, so there's a lot of rocks and there's swamps in between that kind of work like little river systems, if you will. And a lot of these low-lying swamp areas like this, opposed to the ridge which we just came down from, is where a lot of these deer will focus their movement to, because it's A, thicker, and B, there's water and food source down in the low-lying areas. So I'm going to pick this spot right here. We just got to. I have this little log picked out here, this little stump. And what you want is to be able to break it off with your hands, just like this, so that it can really absorb into there, and they just bite pieces off like this and they eat it. It's hard to do with one hand, but so you just put it on like this and spread it around. Make sure it gets all over everywhere. And then once they eat through that log, what they'll do is they'll paw down all the way through the soil, and they'll dig a hole here just to get at that mineral. So we just got to our second spot, and this spot I chose because I put some mineral down here last year, and this is what it looked like after last year. You can see this tree, they ate through pretty much the entire trunk of the tree, and that's not a small tree, so it works really well. I put some here earlier in the spring already, but it needs a revamp, so we're going to do that. Like earlier, I evenly distribute it between the tree, make sure there's some everywhere, and then when it rains, this soaks into the wood and the deer grab off pieces and they eat it. So I'm back in the truck now, and I just realized after looking over the footage that the audio was super bad in most of it, so I'm going to try and salvage everything that I can, but I'm just going to redo the little recap of the last probably half of the videos that I took just here in the truck. What I was saying in those was that minerals have three major parts, one being calcium, one being phosphorus, and the other being protein. Now, all of these three work together to give both the female deer better milk production and the male deer in turn larger antlers. Now, there's a lot of other benefits that go along with it. There's also a lot of other vitamins in there that's going to help them as well, but make sure to check in your local hunting area whether you can do this or not. Setting out baits and attractants, minerals fall under that category, is not legal in a lot of places, and fortunately enough for me it is. I live in Kenora, Ontario, which is in the Wildlife Management Unit 7B. I know a lot of the wildlife management units in Ontario allow this, and some other provinces do, but just make sure that you're not breaking any wildlife laws. Now, when I go out, this is the bag that I had. This is probably weighs about 10 pounds, just a Ziploc bag that I put it in for ease of carrying. With all of the minerals that are in here, there's also attractants. Salt is one of them. Deer love salt. That's why you see them by the highway a lot in the winter time up here in Canada, is because they like to lick the road salt. And there's also an apple flavoring that helps with the scent so they can find it easier. One 10-pound pack usually lasts me about 3 to 4 months, which is great because I'll put it out in late March, early April. It goes until about the end of July or August before they eat through the log or they paw down into the dirt. And then by that time, the natural foliage, like the leaves and whatever else they might be eating around, starts to thin out, and you can start feeding in preparation for fall. If you want to hunt a certain spot, or if you just want to watch the deer grow, it's a great product to use because it just makes a habit out of them coming to a certain spot, which is another bonus if you want deer into an area. Another step you could take is to just put a mineral supplement out like this one, and it will bring them to the area much earlier than you would probably usually start. I know a lot of people, including myself in the past, I would just start baiting for deer or feeding them or even just scouting and looking in September or October when hunting season started. In addition, I wanted to expand on what I said earlier about myself. I'm Jaden Simons, grew up in Kenora, Ontario. That's where I am now. I'm 22 years old and I own an outfitting company. I already told you exactly what I do with it, but I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I love for a living. I get to go fishing, hunting, camping, and exploring all the time, which I love. So what I want to do with this YouTube channel is basically just take you guys along for the ride, hopefully teach you some things along the way, and maybe if you want to do something like me for your career, I would love to show you what it's like. I hope you liked the video. I hope you found it entertaining or you learned something from it. Please hit the subscribe button. That'll help me get on my feet, get some more followers, which would be awesome. Down the road, I want to film more fishing videos, stuff about my new boat, which just came in, I'm super excited about, and even some tournaments maybe. So please subscribe, like I said, and I'll catch you at the next one.